Hello, this is Grandma's Gone Gaming. I am putting together a tutorial about villages and villagers. I'm trying to keep it to 4 episodes. I'm doing this because I've been asked to, even though I don't feel like I'm probably qualified to do it, and I'm not an expert. I've been told that I have a little bit of insight into some things that maybe haven't been mentioned in other videos. Um, so we'll see how it goes, and I hope you are able to gain something from it, not only about crafting villages, but about protecting the villages you find in the natural, and about how to manage villagers now that we're into 1.8.1, and with what might happen in 1.8.2 when we get sieges back. So I have made this first part of this little village out here in this ice plains, and when I build villages, I like to use the resources that are in the surrounding area. So I'm going to be using, probably won't use the ice, which is out there already, but I'm using the packed ice for the roads, and I'll be using snow for the buildings, as you can see here, and then I use spruce products for the rest of the village. The first thing that you should make when you make a village is the well. It is supposed to be in the geometric center of your village. You don't find it that way always in the wild because other things will occur as the village is being generated that cause the well to be off center from the rest of the village. What is supposed to happen is that then the boundaries of the village are figured by 32 blocks out from the center of the well in each direction, or by the furthest out valid door. Villages Also, for a village to be recognized as a village, you need at least one villager and a house, which is one of those valid doors, and I'll explain about that in a moment. Actually, what you actually need to have a village that will grow, of course, is to have at least 2 villagers, because you can't get any more villagers if you just have one. As with the animals, you need 2 of them to mate. And then once you get more, then you'll have a lot of them mating at one time, and you'll have a lot of babies. And what you are looking for to get a naturally generated iron golem is 10 adult villagers in your village. The game figures 3.5 doors per villager, so you need to have 35 doors to get 10 villagers, supposedly. You can actually have probably around 32 doors and you'll still get your 10 villagers because of the rate that babies are born. There is also another thing that can happen if you are in a village that is on layers, which this one is not here, but if you had a village that was built, say, in these layers here, the ground layer where your well is based, which is another thing that it figures in, is going to be the middle layer of what's called the vertical block of the village. What I was talking about, the radius there, 32 blocks out, this one's going to be about 18. The vertical block is another part of the village. Here, if you had a well on this level, then you jump up and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels here. This would be the top. This layer here would be out of the vertical block, because the game figures at the layer that the well is at as 1, and then you go 4 blocks above that and 4 blocks below that, and you have 9. So you can it doesn't look at the villagers when it does its passes to see how many villagers are in a village. So if you had your village built over here and you had a valid door or a house up here on this level, you could cheat in the game by having more villagers. That would happen because some of them are not going to be seen because they're up there on that level. And there are ways to manipulate that and have villagers just multiplying all the time. But right now we're going to build this one on the flat surface, and so we are going to stay within that sphere. Our villagers are going to be standing only on layer 2 of what's considered the 9 layer vertical box. So I'm going to show you how I put these very simple huts together here. Oh, wrong one. I'm going to do 7. You could build your village to look just like the natural villages that you find, but you absolutely do not have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't even have to have all of the things that are in there. In those natural villages, you will find not always all the different parts, but there can be a library, there can be a forge or blacksmith. Actually, the blacksmith is the villager that gets in there, but that's what they call it sometimes. Now, obviously, I'm in creative, and I'm going to go ahead and just shorten this up by using it. And anyway, even in the naturally created villages, you don't find always the library, the forge, the butcher shop, um, and all of the different little huts that there are. You don't even sometimes even find a farm. Um, so you don't need all those things. Um, they say that in the natural villages in the library there's supposed to be a librarian spawned, and perhaps and a farmer. I have seen it where I have seen the librarian spawn in there, but not the farmer. And sometimes you don't even get any farmers at all in your villages. And in 1.8 and above, you need to have a farmer to keep your villagers healthy. So we'll go into more about that later. But your cleric is supposed to be spawned in the church, and maybe a farmer, and you don't always see that either. So you just you get what you get in the natural villages, and we're in some ways we're going to get what we get here too, because we're going to learn about um, de-zombifying zombie villagers. We're going to learn how to cure them, and then we'll also learn how to get the um, the villagers in other ways other than getting zombie villagers cured. But for right now, I'm just going to show you about the valid doors, and obviously show you how a very simple village can have enough doors, or houses as the game calls them, to spawn enough villagers to get an iron golem. As we're just about finished with this one. If you can tell by the other houses that it just takes this little roof, and then I'm going to put these torches outside to light it up, and put on the doors. And because of the way, of the way that it's being built, I don't even have to put any lights in the little apartments, because the lights that are outside will shine in through the windows on the doors and put plenty of light inside, so that there's not going to be anything spawning in there. I'll just get these all in here, and I'll throw the doors on. It's very simple. In each of these little houses has 16 valid doors. And as I put these doors on, I'll explain to you. A valid door, a door to be counted in the game toward the count of villagers, it has to have an outside space that has more open space than in the inside of the doors where it has covered space. So in this little cubicle here, in this little apartment on one side of this house, there are 4 doors here, and once you're inside, and as you can see here, it only goes to light level 9 in here, so we don't need to put any torches in here. Inside of here, we stand in the door space, and we have 1, 2, 3 covered spaces that include the wall. The floor space and the wall are only 3 on either side of this little cubicle. So outside of these doors needs to have more than 3 open spaces. 1, 2, 3, and on as far as you can see that way. The same over here. You'll have, it's a long way away before you come to anything that is on the same layer as the bottom of the door. The game always checks the bottom of the door first, and if it can't determine by that, then it checks the top layer of the door. And in this case, both layers are going to show exactly the same thing, that there is lots of space out here. Even on this side by the well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 open spaces. And I'm thinking maybe I got one of these wrong, because I think I had 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. I put that house back too far or something. So I'll change that later on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it should only have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I must have made that pathway too long. I did. Here, there's only 1 space out here, and here I have 2. So that's all right. I'll fix that later on when I'm not in the video, and explain to you the rest of this before we get this one cut off. Okay, so 4 is more than 3, and so there you have it. You have valid doors all the way around, and on these little tiny houses, which the game counts as actually each one of these doors is a house. So you have 16 houses as far as the game is concerned. As far as our language is concerned, it is 16 valid doors in one little house. Now, the reason you see the snow melting here on this one and you don't see anything melting over here is because um, the roadways are made with the hard packed ice, and the snow obviously doesn't stick to that, but it does stick to the ground. But when you have torches this close to a little slab of snow here, um, it will melt the snow. So we're going to put the pathways around, because all of your villages should have a pathway or a door, a pathway or a road to every door in your village. And you will find that in the natural villages as well, even though at some point, some times in the villages, because there are caverns underneath, or there are hills in the middle, or trees in the middle, or something has happened when the village was being generated, you won't always see the entire road, and so it won't maybe look like there was a road. But the game would have generated the roads regardless. So in this case, now we can just put this road around here, and that completes all of the houses in here. And like I said, I'll fix that one over there so that it is in the square, because in between here, as I get a little further into the tutorial, I'll also add the farms out here in the corners, and then we'll have everything that we need for a village. We have the well, we have the roads, we have 16 doors in each of these houses, which makes a total of 64, and all you need is 35, because your game will wants you to have 3.5 doors for every villager that it generates. So 35 doors will give you 10 villagers, and when you have 10 adult villagers, you will get an automatically game generated iron golem to protect them. We may be able to get even 2 iron golems in here because of the speed at which the babies are generated after the villagers are ready to mate and breed. Of course, we have to have 2 villagers to start with, breeding them, but we're not ready to do that yet. That will come in another part of the tutorial. So for now, we're going to end this off in our pretty little snowfall here, and I'm going to land up here on the roof of the well and take one more look around and see what we have. And then I will see you in the next part of the tutorial, in which we will go to protecting the village from the hostile mobs that will spawn around us. So thank you for being with me in this part of the tutorial, and I'll see you in the next part.